Welcome. We are back. Got in a little late. So today is Friday. This is Dynasty the Show. I am your host Ira Bush. Thank y'all for tuning in. We appreciate you. Um, I'm gonna just say, man, I'm so grateful and thankful, man. Just like you know, I know it might sound like I'm being repetitive when I say these things, man. One of the things I'm really grateful and thankful for is being able to coach sports. Now, I don't tell this story often, but since people like to play, we in a time where you got to tell the truth. We're at a time you where you gotta like make sure the people that you want to be successful is know that you still want them to be successful without them even without putting a damper on their life, without putting no stress on their life. A lot of these people are become peers already because they work there and they have to take care of their families. That's first and foremost. I'm always still available. I don't have to go against them to be successful. That's one of my main things that I taught them as youth, and now they're young adults. I want them to understand that, don't let nobody get in between what you're trying to do. Now, okay, it was about 2014. I always told a story about just my child being born that year. I was in basically just my fifth year, I think my fifth year coaching. I had a lot I worked overnight. So I had a lot going on. I had fun with my friends in the nighttime as well. I wasn't, I had a good time, but it was a lot of stress having a child. But I had that football year. I was coaching in at a private school for high school, and it was the middle school team and the junior varsity team that year. I had went down from JV junior varsity head coach and to offensive and defensive line assistant coach at the school I was at, just to go to the private school, which was the number one school in Palm Beach County. To make a long story short, I thought it would help my career, but it was some people frowned upon that of me as just going against the team that put me on. And I had to learn as a young coach that you had to it was very, it was nice, being in both situations. So, at the time. So I still met a lot of good young children. I also was coaching a little league football team as head assistant. I did offense and defense. Nobody told me what to do, so it wasn't, authority over me. So I enjoyed it. All the kids, it was a small team, but it was a very great group of young men. They were all powerful in their own way. So I want them to know that I still appreciate them as their coach. And I want them also to be successful. These young men are all under 25. So I know they're still gonna have to go through things and become full grown young men and still learn life lessons. So just for that, shout out to them. We won the championship that year. I remember the beginning of the year, the person that was over the whole it's called Boca Jets. They was like, oh, we're gonna lose. We don't have a lot of players. They had the Debbie Downer energy, and I was just like, with the group of kids we have, we're gonna be successful. So even if we don't win, once we started playing and everybody bought into the system, and even the coach that was the Debbie Downer, and it was another coach there, but they were just standing around. It was, I guess they had special teams or whatever. I don't even remember because I coached up. Nobody told me what to do. I did everything myself. So, I didn't have no input from them. I'm just keep it all the way 100. Same with my middle school team. I did the defense and the special teams, and and it was a great young group of young men. I would never go against them. If I see them, it's all love. It ain't no hate. I know everybody got different cultures, different teachings. So that's just my speech for the day. Like, shout out to them. I hope y'all being successful. Hope y'all being productive young men in the world. And I just want to say that was a great year for me. My child was born. I always speak about her. Shout out to Anaya and Anaya Bush, and you just gotta, everything come full circle. I have a lot of time on my hand right now, so the energy behind the day is like people want to put me to not make me talk, not make me speak, but I still have a lot to do. I still have a lot to say. So you're not stopping nothing when you do all that little witchcraft work. Even the people that work here, I ain't dissing them, but they got their little ways. It's a veteran center over there. Like I said, a lot of white supremacists hide behind badges. It's a police station there, badges and army, servicemen that don't like what lineage I come from and that I didn't sign up. And you know how that go if you've been a part of the army and you didn't sign up, you're not so, you're not so gun ho about, the American flag and all that, all that fake patriotism. Like I'm not fake about it because I want my country to be successful, but I also know I have deep roots, and I also know what y'all did to create this system. So it's not. I'm not sugarcoating. I'm not hating. So this makes sure change still has to be made. Nobody's overlooking that the change has to be made. So that's it. Shout out to everybody, man. Like I said, I appreciate it. I'm grateful, and we're gonna continue. We're gonna go right into, we're gonna continue with the going over the executive orders. And like I said, people really do work on me. I be getting put to sleep for real, like on some, I don't know what kind of witch group be on there or hate group really be on it. I just like to make fun of it. And I still wake up every morning blessed and favored. I'm solid 225, almost 5'10", 5'9", whichever one you want to say at the time. I have a lot of life in me, and I know me saying this, it might be more people attack me, but they have to deal with a whole bigger, it's people that have passed and ascended that protects me still up top in the spiritual realm. So you have to deal with my ancestors, and your ancestors not that tough to, you still, you're not that tough. So that's why you attacking me now. So, it's gonna work itself out. And like I said, the way I coach, I know for a fact it's loyalty in some kind of manner and respect. So y'all gotta deal with people that's still alive and well and young that's gonna speak and do the proper thing and not, go about it even and step even bigger than me probably in some cases. So I ain't mad at nothing going on, how it's gonna turn out for the people going against me. Yeah, let's get right to it. Let me pull it up real quick. Executive orders. Now, this is our review. We've been going kind of crazy with these. We're going over these executive orders that they wrote down and made. It was only 18, but like I said, it was a lot of like stuff they wanted to actually have. They already signed up. It's like they would sign the executive orders to make sure people know that they don't want. They have so many sections and this check in and that and then but they started off petty. When they start off petty, they gonna finish even pettier. So somewhere they gotta stop the line of pettiness and control and lack of control. You get what I'm saying? Self control. They don't have that at all. So we're gonna keep it moving. And I'm not gonna talk about the I'm gonna watch the whole I'm gonna have time this weekend to watch it. I'm probably gonna watch it Sunday. So and that's I'm talking about the trial where our Secretary of Education on. Like I said, education is very big. People still got children in these institutions in K through 12, college, community college, and universities, all that stuff like that. So we got to stay on top of those things, even if I full heartedly believe in something else that's bigger that we can do and that I can do. And if I just got my right group of people to see the same vision as me. So yeah, we just got to stay with it and not get discouraged at any point. Oh, we got a little positive going here. Let me see. We stopped at the increasing efficiency at the Office of Federal Register, which is what we are actually on to break down these executive orders. Now, this is good. I've been talking about this probably since I started doing this, and like I said, I had my mom's father just ascended, and he was a high ranking soldier. He flew airplanes, so shout out to him, and the rest of the family. I did not get to be around him ever, so and that was based off his belief and how they treat people who have females as women during that time. That's a little history note how America does it. My mom was the oldest. She was one of the strongest children probably he had, and same with my grandmother, one of the strongest females he had in my eyes. And she had 5 kids. My mom had 3, including all her nieces and nephews. How she treat them, and it's big for it's big. Family is big, and everybody's older, so my mom don't have to do much. She just got to make sure we stand on point. She, like I said, the biggest thing my mom is mad is like about the resources that her children were have not been given. And we did put in the work early because my sister was a licensed chef and I was a licensed coach in Florida at 18. Both of us, one I was 17 actually. She was 17, I was 18, and we both did what we were supposed to do. And they didn't treat us properly in Florida, but we're not complaining. We went the lower route. I mean, got off of the trail of the hate club, the white, I talk about it all the time. We got off that little trail and we did what we supposed to do, and we still able to do what we do at the highest level. Same my sister, she got her braiding license. She went to cosmetology school, all this, that, and they all did all their little work to stop us from our gifts and beliefs. So, that's just quick. I ain't mad. It's just how they want it set up. They don't believe that the women should be in control. So, the fact that I had my child first, they doing me kind of the same way with trying to not make me be around my daughter, but she has a very strong group of people that, I already know the female that I even befriended. Shout out to them, and I don't even get to talk to them. And it's a lot of hate going on. They have married and all that and there's not a lot of men that I hang with. My male family members, they have their own set of group of friends and kids, and they have to make sure they camp this straight too. So I don't do too much. This is one of the best things I could do is speak out in public. So shout out to my mom. I love her for real. I love her to very high remarks from her own son. So, but we're gonna get right and shout out to and then I always talk about my dad's father, who was very high ranking still, just from the earning. He was a general. He was earned the highest achievement as a soldier, and people were very disrespectful to him. I don't care. I don't do the diss talk. Once you get a certain age, all that down talk should be nullified. Especially when you put so much work into you when you was stepping on that field and putting your life for the whole country. So we're gonna read this. We're gonna read this, and they definitely didn't want me to be on there because they would have told me straight up what it was. We had a choice. I chose early on. I wasn't gonna step on there. I love coaching, so a lot of my players signed up JRTC, and a couple of them went on to be. They didn't get to go to the war because it's not nothing to worry about in America. Everything's here. We got technology. We got accessible at libraries in every city in town. So ain't nothing that they don't need, especially on that route. Especially once they do their 4 or 5 years. Well, let's read it. Keeping a promise to veterans and establishing national center for warrior independence. This was written in May 14th. So let's read and see what it says. The purpose and the policy. Our nation's security, prosperity, and freedom would not be possible without our veterans. Mind you, this is what they signed. The person that's in office signed this. This goes for every veteran now. They talking about directly to veterans, and I'm not talking about nobody who didn't go in as a soldier. They talking to veterans, people who are not active. Everybody understand? And you could be a veteran and still be active after you do your first terms. I understand that too. But you know what they were trying to say. People who are older, people who can't move around as fast as they used to, make sure they understand that. That's what they wrote when they signed this written agreement. Many service members paid the ultimate sacrifice. Many others bear visible and invisible wounds from their service. Too many veterans are homeless in America. That ain't one of mine. That ain't an issue. But they wanted it, they wishing it was. Each veteran deserves our gratitude. Yet the federal government has not always treated veterans like the heroes they are. During the previous administration, uncountable bu- bureaucrats, bureaucrats threatened, treated them shamefully, falling veterans when they needed help most, and betraying the taxpayers who rightfully expect better. The story of the West Los Angeles Veterans Affairs and VA Medical Center is indicative of this failure. Now, I'm gonna pause right there. I went to Georgia and I stopped in Atlanta, and I went and checked out a little VA hospital. I do this for real. So I went in there, they was running and hiding, and I guess they got this little competition to who treat a veteran the best in per state or per city. I didn't like the energy behind what I seen out there in Atlanta. A lot of frauds and fake people over there, and I don't think I'm gonna be visiting there. And I ain't dissing no artist or musician. Y'all ain't have to step on that real field. So I ain't really studying all that. I know how you know that don't stop me from being fans of music. I'm just talking about I ain't dissing y'all in that manner, but I'm talking about some real high level stuff that they need to get together over there because it was a look like they would the I don't know what they had going on, but they make sure they better get their stuff together over there. And I went through Texas as well. I like the way Texas had a library set up. Texas run there is a little bit better. It's a lot more availability, but you actually have to be a veteran. And I respect how Texas ran their area. It's not. They do the medicine thing, keep people in track. They feed their veterans at the hospital. I seen that, so I don't mind how they treat them because they gave me a sandwich and a banana when I just walked in there. But that don't mean still with some, like I said, it's competition with these VA centers, and they, how some people do. They don't have to go to the hospital. They get they stuff shipped right directly to them. They just got to go pick it up. So some people might be jealous about that, but you got to be mindful who earned respect, who earned their merit, like we talked about earlier in different shows. So we're gonna continue. Just stop the jealousy. Just do your job. If you want to sign back up when you're 70 years old, go ahead. You want to earn them stripes. We ain't stopping you. And if you want to commit fraud and say you a soldier and not a soldier, then you put yourself at risk. That's a warning. Um, let's continue. Hmm. Too many veterans. Okay. Okay, yet the federal treated veterans heroes during the previous minute. Okay, the story of the West Los Angeles Veterans Affairs Medical Center is indicative of this failure. More than 100 years ago, Senator John Percival Jones, Arcadia Badini, and D. Stearns Baker generously donated hundreds of acres of land that they own in the West Los Angeles on the condition that it would be used to house disabled veterans. The campus once featured a chapel, a billiard hall, 1,000 seat theater, and housed about 6,000 veterans. But the federal government has since allowed this crown jewel of veteran care to deteriorate over the last few decades. The Department of Veterans Affairs leased its parts of the property to private schools, private companies, and a baseball team of the University of California, Los Angeles. Sometimes at significantly below market prices. As of 2024, there were approximately 3,000 homeless veterans in Los Angeles, more than any other city in the country, accounting for about 10% of all America's homeless veterans. Many of these heroes live in a squalor in Los Angeles' infamous Skid Row. During my first term, I signed the legislation to increase accountability and expand benefits and choices for veterans accessing care. In my second term, we built of on those efforts, accountability will return to the department. Veterans around the nation have will have more choices in care, benefits, and service. That the VA campus West Los Angeles will become National Center for Warrior Independence with faculties and resources to help their veterans earn back their self-sufficiency. Now, my grandfather is stationed, you could say he's in Virginia and Florida. Those are very important places for him as his old age. So if you want to go that route, I won't say station. I would say he has a lot going on in both of those areas. Those are very important to him. Those two states as of now. So, and same with my mom's grand in Michigan and a lot of states in the South that they have family throughout. But a lot of these come as like they have dealings already with these people. So I think they want these areas. Now, California is pretty big. And it seems like a lot of veterans go there to like just make sure they have peace of mind, be on the beach. It's just one of them areas where it's always active. But I'm not too. I don't know what really is going on over there. They sound very specific, but it's a lot of people who don't have what it is, and then a lot of the times they get on drugs because they get injured and hurt during training, during going to war, depending on if they and everybody know what happened. We began a war because they said we had terrorists, blew up the World Trade Centers and all that. I was old enough to know to see what was going on and to understand that we were attacked on American soil. So they created a whole war. They attacked the Middle East, and it still lingers to this day. And people, they went to war with people that were definitely outgunned, outmanned. We didn't have. They claim it was a lot of casualties, but you know how that goes. I don't think we went over there with like our eyes shut. It was a new age going into that with technology. I'm not saying they didn't have soldiers over there fighting back, but we wasn't. That was a money grab at more than anything. That was like the Olympics, and we was going. We already knew we was going to win the gold medal. And that's just how that went on that battlefield. All across the board. Now, when they started making side deals and doing crooked things, that's how you get. That's how you get. That's how people come in. Basically, how do you say it? That's how they. What's the word I'm looking for? Whatever the word is, when they come, when they allow the enemy to gain knowledge of what the plan is. So when they start making side deals for money, gold, females, and all that extra stuff that go with war. So they probably the only people that have to blame for casualties and it stand and the war being so long is they just do it for greed at the end of it. So a lot of people came back very unhappy. A lot of movies done came out talking about it, and they blame the president. But I don't know how they blame them. We had to actually do something because that was the biggest stunt and straw man movement I seen. Because they don't even think about it no more, but it happened. A lot of people died on American soil, so it is. I know New York's up and running already. It's very vibrant. It's the summertime. So I ain't got no. I'm on the East Coast with you, so it's all good. It's as of it's as best as possible it could be. Now let's go try one more executive order. That was a big one. Let's read one more, and we are gonna try to finish all these up by tomorrow. So improving the safety and the security of biological research. Let's read that one. That one was done on the 8th of May. Improving the safety and security of the biological research. Purpose. Dangerous gain of function research of biological agents and pathogens has potential to significantly endanger the lives of American citizens if left unrestricted. Its effects can include widespread mortality and impaired public health system disrupted by American livelihoods and the diminished economic, and national security. The Biden administration allowed the dangerous gain of function research within the United States with the insufficient levels of oversight. It also actively approved through the National Institute of Health federal life science research funding in China and other countries where there is limited United States oversight and reasonable inspection of biosafety enforcement. This recklessness and unaddressed may lead to pro- proliferation of research and pathogens and potential pathogens in setting without adequate safeguards, even after COVID-19 revealed that the risk is such practices. Now, like I said, a lot of these things sound very personal. I'm not all for this because I actually understand they don't want me to actually tell y'all that I don't even like vaccinations. Vaccines are something they literally put COVID in the vaccine. Any vaccine has, if it's flu, if it's chicken pox, if it's COVID, if it's whatever the illness is, they put that into the vaccine and shoot you up with it. You could be perfectly healthy. 9 times out of 10, you get that flu shot, you get that COVID shot, you will be sick in 24 hours. This is because they shoot you up with the actual thing. They claim it's not. That right there is the manipulation right there. I'm not fond of the shots that we have to take when we born, the 6 month shots, the 2 year old shots, the 7 year old shots, and your 12 year old shots. You gotta take about 6, 7 shots, and it be more than one sometimes. And I ain't and I'm not for none of that. I'm not okay in that. So they want control of your mind when they put this in you. They put this stuff in you to dilute the genetics. And that's what I'm not on. I'm not on that. I already have too much information. You better go over there and get some natural herbs put in your body. That's what I suggest. I'm not with the shots. They be making people not go to school because of these shots. I think private school got a little bit of leeway on if you have to take them, you can choice because it's private school. But I still think everybody be on board. Once they start taking money from the government in these private schools, they still got to abide by some of these rules, like standardized testing and so on and so forth. And I don't know how deep it goes when it goes to that. So this is one of these, bloodborne pathogens are created in labs. So whoever did it, they just trying to control the population. That's my real understanding and belief of what it is. I've been showing this too much. It's too much of this. I remember when we got the chicken pox. I only got chicken pox one time, but when I tell you I had the least amount of pops, I had like a little bit. I had on my back, my arm. I had one that lingered on my wrist right here for like the longest after I got it. So it's like it was like a planned attack to attack children and teenagers when they got the chicken pox. I'm not making this up. I was 5 years old. All my grandma had all seven of it. Well, out of the youngest, the middle youngest. My oldest cousins, they already had it. They was in high school already, but all of us had it at the same time, and we all still hung together because we all had it at the same time. So I ain't seen chicken pox since, and I'm talking about that's the last outbreak of chicken pox. So I thought that was funny just thinking about it when I was young, but everybody pretty much. And then I didn't get the flu, and I didn't get the flu till like my mom had friends. Her friend went to prison for a year, and she had like 5 kids, and they used to get the flu all the time. But me and my sister didn't get sick. That was my first time getting the flu at 12. So my immune system and my mom and my sister, like we pretty much was, but we had to share a smaller area. Well, the area got smaller when everybody was there. It wasn't a small area. It was a thing. What was it? 3 bedroom. Mom had 3 kids. So one of my sisters could share or however she had set up. But it got smaller, everybody, and we got sick. And I ain't never threw up till I was like 12. I probably thought I was a baby with food overeating or something. But I didn't get sick. I don't get sick now. So blessed. Hopefully they don't take them words and try to make me get sick and all that extraness. I know how the world works. There's a lot of hate out there, like I talk about, but we're gonna breathe life and light and positivity out here. So, but yeah, man, that's pretty much it, man. They trying to, this is biological warfare. They still do that with the medicine and they'll drop something out there real quick, so try to control the temperature in the sky all the time, whether it's rain or snow or coolness or hotness. Put the little the gnats and the flying ants and all that. So, they did a lot just to control and keep people in the house, keep people on time, keep people doing this old. You know how it go, y'all know. Y'all watch the Matrix, how they moving like that already. So it don't bother me as much. It's kind of funny when you like say like you see the Matrix box and then you be like, damn, people still going by that box. Like that box, that play has been ran too many times and it barely worked. You know what I'm saying? It's time for a new box, a bigger, better, more flashier, more pizzazz, more soul in it. You know what I'm saying? Don't steal the energy, but figure a way to. It won't be a box. Probably it'll be like a big old. Nah, man, but for real, man, I'm in a good energy today. Even though, like I said, people work hard just to stop me from progressing in my shows, and I see the energy. But at the end of the day, they gotta respect what I'm saying. So, shout out to everybody, man. I appreciate y'all still listening. Now, I was gonna play some clips. We already a few minutes in, but I'm not gonna go there today. I'm gonna really go through the trial. Well, they said it was a trial, but it's more of like a speech and a when you're in debate. Let's say like she had to testify, and like, cause I remember. All right, I won't go in there. I won't diss nobody today. I'm gonna play nice. I'm just gonna leave it at that. I'm gonna watch the whole 3 hours because it is 3 hours. That's a long time. It's like watching a movie. When you got that movie with the trial and they flashing back, that's how these people, because these people got real lives. Like this lady, her husband, one of the biggest billionaires in the world. He got like 500 people that he got on payroll that are wrestlers. Like, still, you know what I'm saying? He got to worry about their children running their business. They make a business still. They got the Rock is not their kinfolk, but he one of the biggest in the world. I'm saying? Sure, he got dealers. He do a guest appearances every now and then, and these people don't need this kind of political backlash like they getting chewed out. That 5 minute clip it probably was worse when I read the whole thing. So we're gonna check that out. I ain't gonna do too much. I already read the executive orders, but we is gonna talk about the game. We're gonna move on. It's Friday, so we're gonna have to be like, it's something going on. If the adults want to go to Rapids tonight. They have a adult night. I think it's today. It's today or sometime during the weekend, Saturday or Sunday. I'm pretty sure it's tonight. If you want to check that out, it's $25, which is a good deal to go to Rapids. It's 3 hours. I think it's from 7 to 10. And I ain't been to Rapids since I took my child when she was like 5 or 4 or something like that. We went, but it was fun. And but the Rapids, it was they got adult, it's just adults. I don't know if it's 18 and 21, but just got to be adults. I think they're gonna serve drinks, so they might have made it 21. I've seen them promoting it. I might go. It's my birthday month. I don't get to celebrate, and I forgot. Dang, my cousin, my oldest cousin, she's older than everybody on both sides. My cousin, and it's her birthday. Shout out to her. Gemini season. I don't really know anything about astrology too slick, but it's Gemini season. Stars and greatness is everywhere. And my birthday is in almost 2 weeks, so I'm hyped about mine too. So I know she's gonna celebrate. She probably gonna go to the mall or something, go get her some nice stuff. Especially her kids. They got it. They're very successful young adults out there, so I'm proud of them too. That's the biggest gift. I tell my sister all the time. The biggest gift is your children, and she got some of the brightest people as her children, and that's a great gift to have. So they probably gonna get her something nice, take her to eat and all that. Oh, so shout out the fam. And that's pretty much it. I just gotta just wish her happy birthday, tell her, it's inbox in her inbox message, tell her, I'm happy for her. I'm glad that she made it see another one, and that's pretty much it. I can't do much. I'm trying to look. I'm fighting for with R. Kelly. It's just resources though. It ain't no danger of like it's resources, So it's all good. Now, pretty much we're figuring out. Okay, I'm move on. Y'all go have fun down there in West Palm Beach. Rappers right off Military. Want to go have fun? I might step out. I ain't been out and did some fun like that in a while. So yeah. But moving on. Last night I watched most of the NBA Finals game. I actually didn't watch the ending of it. I just left the bar. I went to Chili's. I left early, and it was one of them. It's what I expected. Now OKC, I thought they were going to win because it was like 10-point lead, 10 minutes left. I was like, I ain't really got like I respect Tyrese Halliburton and SGA. Both of them had great games, but it's the player, it's the role players that come in and make big plays down the stretch is what you see. Like I just seen a clip on TikTok where it was showing when the Lakers in 2000 had to come back against the against I watched this playoff game now. Mind you, I watched the playoff game. It was the versus the Blazers. The Blazers, they had a very, very high level team. But you got Kobe and Shaq. But during those clips, you see Brian Shaw hit a three. You see Robert Horry hit a three. And Kobe and Shaq did what they had to do. You feel me? So I look at it like that. Like they had to take them, and the same went on like yesterday. Caruso had a nice game in the first 3 quarters, and the Indiana ended up having nice role players contribute down the stretch, and then Tyrese Halliburton closed it out with the game winner with point 0.3 seconds left. So it was just a nice. This is how you want. This is very high level basketball in the NBA Finals. I know a lot of these teams. These are low market teams. These not like Indiana and Oklahoma is not big. They got enough to be technology everywhere, but they're not the biggest media savvy, or the fan base is very homebound and like well knit. You gotta actually be from there to be like I'm a fan of Oklahoma. I've been around since KD and Russell Westbrook and put that team on the map, and James Harden as well. And then you got to be like I remember Reggie Miller stealing the ball inbounds, coming off the stuff. Run our test and Jermaine O'Neal. They got to be talking like that. And even be all these people. This is the Jalen Rose. You feel me? Like these are people that in the '90s. This is what I'm watching and remembering. Like these players, and it was some great basketball. And I'll be thinking about it like that. So, in early 2000s as well. But I remember those. Late '90s. I was old enough to watch some of them games, and I'm a fan of those old times. And it was good. It was the basketball now is it's more technically sound, but I always say technical. Like they calling those fouls, and it ain't. They let them play in the playoffs though, but people was getting dunked on. It was it was real deal. Like one through 4 quarters, and it's good. I just remember all that stuff. So I'm glad it's competitive. I'm glad that those franchises will win. Those. I don't. I'm trying to remember. I don't think neither one has won. They had a chance when KD was there. Reggie Miller run our test team, and Steve Jack, all them when they split them up, and everybody remember that story. So it was great basketball back, and I'm glad that one of those franchises is going to win. So that's pretty much it. I didn't get to watch. I think it's a WNBA game come on YouTube today. I might check it out. I don't know. It's might try to watch. I don't really right now. Y'all see what I'm focused on. and we got a lot going on. I didn't even check what done came out, but they got to figure some stuff out over there in the government. And like I said, next week the big week, 4 more days. I got June 10th. I'm in Broward all day to go kick over the school board for disrespecting my child, disrespecting me. So I ain't really going there on no negative, but it's gonna be, my presence will be felt. So it's gonna be big next week. We're gonna be talking about that. And y'all know I went to the school board this week. Hopefully they get in touch with me. I gotta call these mayors still. One in West Palm, one in, go pull up on, like I told y'all. Everybody look up the Pompano if y'all got concerns. He supposedly he's a Christian and he goes to church. So if he doesn't answer his phone calls for y'all, go visit him at church on Sundays, and he might have some answers for you. I gotta make sure, my people got harassed in Pinellas County. So we're gonna be calling the mayor over there in St. Petersburg and in Pinellas County and Largo, Clearwater. We're gonna check y'all out too. Same in Pasco County as well. We're gonna make sure all that stuff get cleared up. So we're gonna talk about those things. I got basketball came up last night. We did the draft for our teams. I got a pretty solid team. I didn't get the player that I wanted, but I got a solid team. So I think I got it. I like my chances to win the whole thing. So, I'm hyped. I'm very competitive. I still gotta look into like what I'm gonna do with football. I really want to coach high school. I love the competitiveness of high school. If I get into school with great athletes, all right, we going to the playoffs. If I gotta rebuild, it's gonna be fun. I'm gonna enjoy teaching them and really breaking stuff down like the old ways, old school ways, and they might get a call from prep school. They might need help. I'm still available. I don't even have to do too much as sign, get my 20K a year and help the program. And it's a lot of them out here, so I might have to check it out. I don't really want to leave Florida, but man, I got to make a decision. I'm not gonna probably do prep this year, but the option is still open for next year to build y'all program. I'm available. Meaning, I'm talking about like just the prep football teams. They help people get to college. They take a year off and play ball, and it's a lot of solid people who do it in the correct way. So, we're gonna look into all of that stuff. I got my football. I got my coaching juices back. My media, we going strong right now. So I'm hyped. I'm lit about it, and that's pretty much it today. Entertainment wise, I might go check that movie out. That I think it's called Ballerina. The BMF series dropped today. We're gonna watch that sometime today or this weekend. I didn't want to pay for it, but it didn't pop up for free. So Star's trying to block and make sure everybody pay that. They lowered the price though. So I gotta figure out how to do that. My mom's house, she got it already, so I know I can go over there and watch it. And also The Shy, I'm gonna check that out. So that's it for entertainment. Yeah, that's it for today. I appreciate y'all tuning in. This is a great show. We broke down some, stuff we've been building on. I didn't go into anything, personal. It's Friday. I don't want people to be like, oh, coach is lacking or he ain't paying attention. I ain't really trying to pay attention today. I got stuff going on next week for real. You know what I'm talking about? And my birthday weekend coming up. You feel me? I ain't enjoyed it since I was 12 years old. I'm 30. I'm finna be 34. So that's a long time. That's 22 years. So man, I'm trying to, enjoy my birthday week. Man, I might step out today and go swimming, go on the lazy river. I'm thinking hard about it. So, but yeah, I see y'all, man. Tomorrow we're gonna do a show. I'm gonna definitely do a show tomorrow, but it's gonna be if I get to the breakdown that they do a lot of stuff in the government over the weekend. They try to throw stuff at the end of the day. They probably doing a ceremony right now while I'm talking. So hey, let's get it going. Let's make sure y'all tune in and we're gonna have a lot of stuff to break down. I appreciate y'all. This is Dynasty the podcast show. I'm your host, Ira Bush, and y'all have start your weekend off right. Be safe.